And you've got two different components. You've got the on throttle and the off throttle. In my opinion, it's the off throttle is the far more significant aspect of this. Unfortunately, this is the part that you cannot change though when you're actually in a race. So when it's park ferme or in like career mode and you're just in the race itself, the only part you can change is the off throttle here, which is a little bit annoying. But in a nutshell, the further you go towards the right or a more locked setup itself, the better outright traction potential that you could find. But it's going to be much more susceptible or a much more risk to you losing the car, not snapping on you, getting oversteer, not being able to correct it. It basically is going to be much harder to get that potential traction. But if you can be smooth on the power, you should be having a better exit. Whereas if you go lower down, and this is the reason why you see in wet conditions that everyone goes lower down, but even in the dry conditions in F1 2019 and even on this game, for what I found, there isn't really much of a time gain that you would get from going from a locked to an unlocked. Though the potential time gain is really not noticeable. So I think you would always be running a 50 diff on this game like you did in the previous one. And with this, it's just much easier to get on the traction. And if you do lose the car on the traction, it's just much easier to control. Whereas if it's locked, it's a lot tougher to control it. So it's just going to be easier on the traction, but the potential traction might not be as good in terms of lap time. But in my opinion, it really is not noticeable. I think you should be running 50% all the time, completely unlocked. However, with the off throttle, this is by far the most significant part of this. If you go 100% locked, what you will find is that the car will be very stable, very understeery, and it will be very hard to lose the car. But the car will just not want to rotate because it is locked into position. The wheels are just locked, hence why it's called that. Whereas if you're going off the throttle, you'll find once you're actually going down the gears or you're like halfway through a corner, the wheels will just want to rotate all the time.
Yeah.
And yeah, this will give you a lot of rotation, but it will just be too much rotation. It will make the car feel very unstable and very difficult to control, meaning that the traction probably won't be good because you just can't control it and you're just going to be always counter steering all the time.
Maybe
so in my opinion,
and
this is what you saw from a lot of drivers, particularly in esports, they always run 50-70, so not quite halfway, but 50-70 because it's easier to get on the traction, but then it does still rotate. It rotates more than it being stable, but you need the rotation in this game because since you don't have the ballast or the weight distribution like you had in F1 2018, this is a method to use to get that rotation. So the lower you go, the more rotation you're going to get. The higher you go, the more understeer, more stability you're going to get. So again, it's all about finding that balance. And for me, I think 50-70, especially in this game, works very well. But if you are struggling with the car rotating too much when you're going off the throttle and you're turning, and you find it's just turning way too much, then it might be worth actually increasing this itself. But an easy way to remember what this does is that the on throttle really affects the car on the exits of the corner. So once you're actually gone on the throttle on the exit, but this, it only affects the car on the entry and as you're going through the corner itself. So that the mid part of the corner when you're downshifting, going up in revs and stuff like that as well. That's a really easy way to remember of each way it does. So more to the left, more rotation, more to the right, more stability, but less performance really. Moving over to suspension geometry, I think probably the hardest part of the setup to really kind of get your head round. I know it was for me, and I think it still is to a day sometimes. This part of the setup, I don't think it really gains you a significant amount of time, but I think it can really help you with your consistency and just finding you a good sweet spot throughout the whole time. Because I used to run really the same geometry at all times. Whereas I know a lot of the esport drivers, particularly when you're at that level, you want to find every inch of time possible, because it really can actually make a big difference. So you've got two things here. You've got the camber and the toe. The toe is what the angles of the wheels look like from directly above. So if you're a bird above the car looking straight down, is whatever the angles of the wheels are. Probably put a picture up on the screen now. Now you've got the camber, which is the angle of the wheels if you were standing directly in front of the car or directly behind, is what the angle of the wheels are going to be looking at, if they're going to be in or out. With this here, on the previous game, I used to run right, left. I know a lot of people did, and I found this just gave me a good balance, because it was the opposite to each other. It just gave me a lot of stability, some good rotation, just a consistent feeling all the time here. But we're going to go through each one of these and just try and explain the best I can of exactly how it works. So with a complete max toe going towards the right, you will find it will be very responsive, but the car can actually wash away mid-corner. So upon the entry, it will be really responsive. But as you get into the middle of the corner, there'll just be too much lateral load on the tyre. It will then become a little bit unstable, and it might even understeer, start to wash away, push on from the car itself with just too much load on it. And this can actually increase tyre wear, because it just has so much low speed.
Yo, you came here just in time.
It's time to find out which driver is up to the task of claiming the Chinese Grand Prix. We're here in Shanghai.
It was a very wet qualifying that we did last night. So we actually are on pole because we put down one hell of a lap.
This 3.3 mile circuit. The incredibly long back straight provides the best
so maybe we got a shot at this one, but we're probably going to get passed by the cars.
Before the braking zone of turn 14. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Lawrence lines up on pole position, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Bottas, Ricciardo, Sebastian Vettel, and Verstappen, Ocon, Raikkonen, Sainz, and Sergio Perez. Norris, Kvyat, Mick Schumacher, and Stroll, Gasly, Magnussen, Antonio Giovinazzi, and Alexander Albon, Leclerc, Russell.
Oh wow, our rival took a 10 spot penalty.
Now, it's almost time for
that's
lights out,
good
so
for
let's
us.
go down to the track.
We're trying to win a rivalry which gets us points.
Now that we've got some points on the board, let's continue this form and aim for another top 10 finish.
Really, we're gonna go to hard tire? Okay, what if I said let's not go to the hard tire? Well, we're gonna start on medium, and then depending on how many laps we can go on the medium, that's what we'll do. Because according to like making another pit stop's gonna lose time. Let's go with this. Now we skipped the formation lap because of all the bugs we encountered with it. Hello, what is going on here? Medium tire, not hard. Whoa, oh come on. Okay. I have socks on. It's making me stupid. The part that sucks when you flip your when you set your thing up. There we go. Now I'm in a much better, comfortable position. Now we can actually follow the corner instead of Just having our foot slide off the brake. Oh, we're still gonna get passed by these jokers. Right here.
We're looking good so far.
Car feels really loose. Loose car. Everyone started on mediums. Of course it's a car. Why wouldn't it be? It's got 1,000 brake horsepower. And it's got a engine and race car. Maybe that's the distinction you were looking for. Okay, this feels slow. I really don't like how squirrely the car is under acceleration, and there's nothing I can do about it. was it an XRT? Was it XRT 4i? Oh, somebody hit the bollard. It wasn't me. It was a pretty good lap.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
The Mercor Auto Company. Maybe XRT 4i or something. XR4 Ti or something. Yes, it's a car for people who like Initial D, I guess. Gas, gas, gas. I'm gonna step on the gas. I guess we just unlocked an achievement for a number of miles driven on this track. Yes, that's what that was. I know someone who is like the pro at Initial D, and I just kind of look at him. He's really good at it. Also a closet furry, which is really funny to me. You didn't hear that from me though. Well, Botas has the fastest lap now. Initial D is a game. Yeah, absolutely a game. For a serious business game. Give me my fastest lap back.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
guess we stay on heavy, on rich fuel mixture until we level off the fuel, because we aren't losing fuel per lap on standard. The reason I put like an extra lap worth of fuel is to be able to chase people down, and because our fuel mileage sucks in this car. So on some tracks we actually lose fuel to whatever the average lap is for fuel usage. Where's the components more though, but we already are going to have to take extra engines throughout the season because our reliability sucks. So we're putting a gap on some of the people behind us, but the Mercedes pair are probably going to be on our butts. But it looks like everybody else we're putting a pretty decent chunk of time on.
You're losing a small amount of time to the car behind. Keep pushing.
It's one of the hardest corners in Formula 1. It's full lock one way and then full lock the other way, and it's a decreasing radius corner. So you just continue to turn and turn and turn and turn. It's been a while since I've played Initial D. The guy was trying to teach me how to play it, but it's like, it's a whole different skill set. Play arcade games, racing games, because they have literally their own physics. They don't follow rules.
We're not going to be able to run in this engine
Shut
mode
up,
much
Jeff.
longer. We're about a lap over target. Drop
Spun
down
out.
to mix
Shut
too
up,
soon.
Jeff. Shut up. Surprised you haven't heard of it, or played it, or know of it. That's what you're asking. Alright, so medium tires getting destroyed after 5 laps. So we're going to have to go to the hard tire if we just want to go 1. This is a 1-stopper. Engine's really hot too. I guess your engine goes up if you sit on rich as well. I think the next race is at another circuit that I hate. I think it's at the Baku City circuit. Azerbaijan, I think. Engine is pretty hot. 7. Fuel mix. You missed like 15 years. I guess we are getting on the hard tire. This tire is not going to last, and I mean, the soft tire, this is how good the mediums are. In theory, we can go, you have to use 2 different compounds, so we don't really have a choice but to use the medium and hard, so you can't go medium twice. But we might honestly do better with 2 pit stops. Hard to tell. If we had a larger gap, we had a larger gap, we would do another stop. The other thing that, for whatever reason, every time I race, we get a safety car, that would change everything as well. Probably go straight on the hard. I feel like that too sometimes. Just because generally I don't pick up AAA games. Jupicus will come in here and say it's a AAA game. Wide there. Who's a Warcraft?
You've lost some time to the car behind.
Oh, cause of Warcraft, got it. Just figured that one out. Cause of. Yeah, college and Warcraft were a thing. I still played a lot of old games though. Like, I still have XCOM games that I never finished. I need to finish XCOM. Like, actually play through a whole game, get to the end, win the game, or lose. Iron Man mode. Hello, that was an interesting fight we got into that corner. Alright, that's a 4th of the race. We got an edge we're building up on everyone, not the Mercedes. And the Mercedes are still sitting 2 seconds behind us. Not get all in one in that corner. Tires are kind of starting to really fall off. Yeah, we're definitely going to R1. So we pick our tire compounds for each weekend. Apparently that was a yellow, green sector. Fastest sector time that we've run that sector. We were supposed to have the telemetry program turned on. Oops. Or if I can still turn that on. I wonder if I can still turn that on. 1 second. Quick instructions. Set on. Broadcast mode off. Local host. Set to the default port. Sure. Waiting for a session. Do you have a session? Let's see. Let's see. We got the telemetry program for the game so that we could make better decisions about our car setup. Just see how much these tires take a beating on this track. It's a total beatdown.
Be aware we expect the grip levels to start falling away soon.
Hard tire is going to be super interesting because there's going to be way less grip, and basically it's going to be the amount of grip we currently have for the rest of the race. Sectors. Not enough grip. My mouse keeps going onto the screen. So we run this in a window, boys. Keep having to baby the throttle coming out of these corners. Still got Botas 2 seconds behind. I think our arrow in these corners is the only thing that's keeping him really at bay. Let's see if we get a good jump coming out of stuff like that.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards.
We'll take these tires as long as we can, but you can see we're already losing time on them. But those hards probably may be at like 20% already. Or now we're losing time. So what's the next hot game you're playing, Koya? Gonna be Koya Truck Sim? That was the fastest third sector of the race. If only we could do this sector well enough. Here are the tires. I mean, I'm at full lock, so I don't really know how I'm supposed to go through these corners any faster. Who knows? As you can see in the truck day. That'd be fun. God, I cannot get these turns down. So many things to finish. One day you'll play La Mulana again. Found the boots. A couple other things. What's IDS? It's the Is that the Nintendo Switch thing? Oh, hello, oversteer. You have a lot going on. No, I mean, it's okay. This front left tire is John.
We're gonna box this lap. Push hard on the in lap.
Okay. Hello, tires. Nothing left on these tires. Why is it called IDS? Oh. Just Death Stranding. Gotcha. Okay, we're probably pitting next lap. Maybe we're just pitting this lap. Box this lap. Box this lap.
Right, come in at the end of this lap.
Maybe it is. I'm not telling. Okay, so we're boxing. I don't know where the hell the pit lane is, so we're just gonna see. Oh, we're gonna check to see if we have telemetry. We are tracking telemetry. It's doing it. Shanghai Race 1, it says. Great job. Laser platforms. This is going to be the hottest pit lane coming. So basically, I believe you just continue to drive straight. I have no idea how. Oh, Bottas stayed out. Bottas stayed out. Interesting that he stayed out.
Go, go. That was our last stop. No more scheduled pit stops.
Hey, that's our teammate is in 5th. That's probably because of all the pits, because he started around 10th. Turn on the lights, and there are pink platforms. Turn on the lights, and there are pink platforms. Pink platform. These tires have more grip than the... Oh, I was reading chat. I'm also trying to get a moving platform to fall down a tube to a flying machine. Mausoleum of the Giants? Is that where you were?
Yellow flag.
What's the yellow flag for? Ha! My teammate gave me DRS. Okay, if we have to change tires, all we have left... Whoa, we've got Raikkonen with a problem. I think he's out of the race. Yep.
Safety car. No overtaking. Reduce your pace. Keep your delta number positive as we form up. Nick is coming in for his stop.
Okay, what is about to happen here is I believe Bottas has gotten out. And so we're going to restart second, right on his tail. So that retirement, he stopped his car somewhere on the track. And that brings us to yet again a safety car. So if you need a beverage, this is the time to do that. We're going to be behind the safety car for this, and then restarting on serving lap 17. We're going to save some fuel here, get us some coffee. All these cats are on the hard tire.
The car ahead of you has just fitted the hard tires. Car ahead now on the hard compound.
You know what game I really want to get into? Well, I'm currently playing Front Mission 1, but I want to finish Front Mission 3 especially, but I want to play through the first two as well on SNES. And they had MechWarrior on sale on GOG, and I still haven't gotten it, just because I keep hearing that it's just like, it keeps going on a better sale, because I guess the reviews on it are like meh, kind of just meh reviews. So it doesn't really matter how much space we kind of keep here as long as we stay kind of close, and for some reason the game keeps the damage model on during safety car. So we just keep our distance. It doesn't really change a whole lot. On a coasting and high gear we sit in, it's the same. So we'll restart this lap. And you can see the lap time was pretty high there. It's actually possible. Well, this is what it's called, BattleTech, though, I think is the... Ah. Well, you go. Don't you watch Evangelon? Isn't that Evangelion? Evangel. Evangelon. So we're gonna have a lot of fuel mix to go at Botas here with. I don't know if we're gonna be able to beat him though. It's gonna be tight. Bring the differential down a little bit. Maybe that'll help with this corner exit business. Not really sure why our corner exits are so swirly. Might just be just how bad our car weighs. I don't know.
Okay, let's get ready.
See,
to
and then
go
they do
racing
that,
again.
and I'm like,
the
really?
safety car is in this lap. When the field accelerates, remember, there is no overtaking until the green flags. Safety car in this lap.
Just in case anything weird. I've had like cars get disqualified and stuff. Do weird stuff on these restarts. So we just take a save here before anything weird happens. I heard a 60-foot Gundam took a few steps in Japan. What? What? Alright, so we're going to restart with 12 to go. Oh my god.
The track is clear. Green flag.
That's a thing? Wow, that actually happened? I thought they had like 1,500 coronavirus cases and they've just been hiding numbers or something. Now everyone there is in shock again. So DRS is not enabled on this lap. I'm going to bring this back down to 60. That felt better on that corner. Marbles! Marbles! Get out of my way. Bullshit. It's just as part of that as I was. Not enough grip. I don't think we can catch him. Might just have to settle for second. If we had DRS, maybe. We could somehow stay near him with DRS. But our wing might be set a little bit too high. I think we raised that for this track. And we can't catch him on the straight. So I don't know where the hell we're going to pass him. I have no grip in the corners. He just hit the fastest lap of the race. And here we are behind him. 11 to go. Can I get too many marbles? Not enough grip. So going off the racing line, which is part of why I have it on, because that's how the game sims it. You lose grip going to the marbles.
We advise moving to mix 2.
Shut up,
fuel
Jeff.
To mix 2.
Just shut up. Look at how much oversteer there is on the car. Oh my god. Is DRS enabled? If we get DRS, Hamilton's gonna get DRS. I think we're giving up to the Mercedes here. White flag. We have one more lap in, and how's the engine? 29. We're about to do our fastest lap of the race, but it's not as good as his best lap of the race.
Okay, the stewards have now enabled DRS. DRS is now online.
10 to go. Can we catch Bottas? Pass him. Caught him, we just can't pass him. So you can get on the gas for a weekend. Bitch. Keep that? Nah, he braked really hard. We'll take one reset. I'm screwing with the diff again. Did it again. Wow. Just do the same thing. Can I please make my adjustment and like drive the car? No. Sort of didn't brake hard enough. Better sector 2. Actually got DRS. Are we catching? We're not even, we're barely catching with DRS. No grip. We have like no front downforce. That's part of it, probably. At least our hard tires aren't taking that much wear, so they're going to be about the same every lap the rest of this race. Took them out about 6 laps ago. They're only at 13. Oh, we did have a safety car. Helps them if they have car that weighs less and it has a lot more engine power than we have. We have good aero. That's the one thing we have is our aerodynamics is great. The rest of the car sucks. Too much. Maybe too early. Too late. That was a decent lap time. It is decent. That's going to be enough to hold off with Hamilton here. It's not going to catch Bottas. Basically, we're all running the same lap times. To go. Oops, track that. Didn't help us. So I'm pretty sure the next race is Baku, and then we go to Monaco, and then we get to all the tracks I like. China's not too bad. This track's not too bad. The only problem with it is just we've turned off the assists. So the car is just a lot more squirrelier than I'm used to under throttle. Might be the fastest lap of the race. Sure is.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap of the race. We're leading our teammate by 10.4 seconds.
Eight. And a reverse. They used to have 6, then 7 in the 90s. This is top end right here. It's way too late. We blew fastest lap at the end of that. Now he's gone again.
There's 5 laps of fuel remaining.
I don't know why every game does this, where as soon as it hits 5.99, they tell you that there's 5 laps of fuel left. We have plenty of fuel. As long as I know there's 6 laps left in the race when he says that, we're good. We're doing better on the hard tires than we were the medium tire, but there is less fuel in the car. That's probably a big part of that. It's so close to... Oh, we got squirrely on exit! Damn it! We went wide. Tried. Can't say we didn't try. We might just get to him. Inside here going into this turn. Kinda, yes, no. And then we got loose. Four to go. We can get close to Botas in the DRS zones. That's really our best shot. But we can only really get close to him seemingly on the intersection.
Fuel remaining.
Get one more shot at him, and I just don't know if it's going to be the penultimate lap or the final lap. Maybe next lap. But we're going to be within a second again. We take such a chunk out of him there. Maybe this is where we try to pass him.
Good job. That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
Almost there. He gets off the corner way better than we do.
Is dropping back. We're seeing a gap form.
Thanks, Jeff. It wasn't already obvious when I'm racing for the lead. I don't see a car in my ass. So we can get within 1 second going into that final corner. Get that DRS going into it. Kind of bring it down to about 4/10. We should be able to get around them. Trying. It's harder than it looks. This isn't like NASCAR where passes are free. DRS this lap. Missed the detection zone. We're going to be awful close at the end of this lap, though. If all goes well, it's going to be a few tenths. Could get him going into turn 1. At least we got a good race out of it, regardless of the result. Just run lead the whole race.
We have 2 laps of fuel remaining.
No shame in turning on traction control. We would have probably gotten by him with traction control. Just because I would have been on the gas a lot harder. Besides love tapping him once we didn't have to flashback anything in this race, so that's always really good to know. Doing well enough to not have to flashback anything. Not in DRS range again. Oh, we did get DRS. We did get DRS. Here we go. This is our shot. Get as close as we're gonna get. Nope. Final lap.
This is your final lap of the race. Gap to teammate behind is 19.0 seconds.
Whatever happens, happens. Uh-oh. 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 Hell is happening? Okay, I don't know what the hell just happened. Let's just go back. Let's just go back. That was dirty. We're just gonna end up taking a broken wing back to the farm here. I did like that the wing just kind of stuck to the car. We've lost so much downforce that it's over. We're gonna get second place. Maybe third. That was our front wing sitting on our car. And then we got stuck into him. Well, we outbraked ourselves a bit because we damaged the car. And that was dirty and not fair, so we're just going to take second. Yes, that was a piece of my car. That I've never had that happen where it just sits in front of the car. So that was pretty cool. I'll take our second place.
Good job, you did really well. Super driving.
How was he driver of the day? I guess when you go from 20th to 10th, you kind of get driver of the day by default.
The factory after that one. A great race and a real team performance to take the win here in Shanghai. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
After an excellent performance at the Grand Prix, I'm sure there'll be plenty of celebrations tonight amongst the Mercedes team. and they certainly deserve it.
Yep, that was China Track Mastery, 50 miles at China. Pointless
Let's see how the
experience
driver
points.
standings have changed. More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for driver of the day?
That's got to be the Flying Finn. Wait, how many Flying Fins have we had now? Anyway, I'm talking about Bottas this time. Just great raw speed. And a good job in traffic as well.
It's time to check out the constructors' standings. Mercedes continue to extend their lead. Meanwhile, Renault move up the table with another strong performance this weekend. Well, Ant, an end to another fantastic weekend of
Mick
racing.
actually
Thanks to
scored
everyone who
points.
joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
Eat. Why is Chatty doing something weird? Alright, that's it for Shanghai. Oh, I got an interview.
Performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You must be thrilled to be up on the podium.
Yeah, well, see, our aero package is
Your
great.
team must be ecstatic with how you're performing.
Sure.
Do you have any comments about the collisions? Appreciate your time.
All of those, I think, are bad for whatever department. Oh, we're racing Vettel. I forgot it's not Leclerc. We are never going to get to a claim level 20. Wow, we hit all of the sponsor bonuses. I guess a podium finish does that for us. And then we led laps. Alright. I'm pretty sure
Morning, boss.
Baku is
This week's
next Dutch
income
Grand
from
Prix.
sponsors is cleared, and we're making good profit against our running costs.
Dutch? That's what, team building? Or wait, the funded away event gets you less than the team building does, but it also gives you resource points. And all these other ones suck. We're gonna get 500. We can't do that. I don't know where they thought we were gonna be able to do that. But this is what we're doing. I guess promotion. So this is going to give us a 15% bonus. What's our current bonus level? 0, 0, 2, -2. Okay, well. Did we get the bonus right away?
Our new parts have been completed without issue. They'll be on the car ready for the next
Clink.
race weekend.
So now we have morale boost. 2%. It's not a very big boost. Anywho, what can we research? The ultimate in brakes, okay. The ultimate in weight distribution. How long do these take to do? It would not be ready until after Monaco. Well, I don't really care about Monaco. Temptation is there. We have the points. What else can we go with? We can get more downforce. Go further ahead in that. But here, I guess we just finished a few R&D. that get us kind of more mid-packy. Still weight reduction. We get an alternate tire wear. And it still gets done in the same time frame. Well, then let's take the ultimate. Alright. Now we have a press interview. Let's do our press interview. Will Buxton.
Well, it's great to be back at your headquarters, and I've got to say, an awful lot's changed since we were last here. Let's dive in with some questions. Sponsors seem to be climbing over one another to get their name onto your car. What do you plan on investing?
Push up our
Is it
chassis.
safe to say you focused heavily on driver development? When you're one of the top teams, do you feel like there's less pressure or even more?
Now we've attracted sponsors. Oh. Always mention the
Are
sponsor.
you going for the Constructors' Championship this season, or just for points?
We're lucky to be a few podiums. I don't know.
Would it be safe to say that in terms of team orders, your career...
Oh, it's my team. It's my rules. They're team orders.
Well, thanks a lot for inviting us here. It's been fantastic.
Will Buxton and his bazillion bracelets. They nailed him to a T. Figured him out exactly. Messages. High cash balance. Well, what the hell? I mean, I don't need any of this. Guess we'll build this. Those useful. So it's the same price a month or a week. See, this one's got 6 out of 12. This one's got 4 out of 12, and they're the same price per week. 5 million? I don't know. Just 2 million. Build time. Yeah. Let's make it faster to build. Let's just do the one. 800 resource points. Alright. Sandford? Oh no. I didn't like this track the first time we did it. Then we get to go to Barcelona after it. I guess we'll do the practice for it. But I don't know if we're doing the race for it. Let's put on our practice parts. Race gearbox is fine. I'll take a new practice gearbox. Any R&D to do? Waiting on any R&D. What's the time frame on finishing this? After the Spanish? Points. More power seems like a good thing. Don't have enough for any of these. May as well just develop this. Points. Okay. Everything? Go to Zenvold. Let's go. Did it finish the session? Where's my data? This tracking. Oh, I didn't pick who I'm tracking. Oh dear. Oh dear. Well, I guess we're tracking now. The practice. Oops. Oops. So we do have a setup for sand worlds. Let's go to the first practice session. Would not check if it's raining. Good, it didn't rain. Yeah. So they were supposed to race here this year. That's not happening.
Carl probably mentioned the new parts that have come in from the factory. Well, they're all fitted and good to go. I hope they do the trick.
Yeah, we have new parts too. That's a good deal. We got single drive. So we have to mess with that off throttle, which we can't change during the race, that diff setting. Is it already on?
Okay, your goal is to get through as many corner gates as quickly and precisely as possible. Remember to activate your DRS in the DRS zone as well.
This car is less swirly than the other one was. Bumpity bump. Have we started the lap yet? Oh, it's acclimatization, so we don't need to worry about full-on throttle speed. This car is way better than the one I had in China. Holy crap.
DRS zone is coming up. Get ready to open it. Distance is on your MFD. That's looking good now.
Alright. That wasn't bad. That wasn't bad at all. And we didn't get the double, but that's okay. Do some tire management. Why it puts us so far back.
This test is all about tyre management. Try to control the slip through each corner and take extra care putting the power down at the apex.
Record in Netherlands. What? It'll show us at the end of the session what that was. 'Cause I don't know what that is. Record in Netherlands. Must have gotten a good lap time or something. Or overall speed. This car handles way better.
The rain is a few laps out yet, but it is coming.
Rain!
Be careful.
Shut up about rain. We're not racing in the wet. Unless the race is in the wet, we don't need to practice. Oh dear, whatever the hell you are, you're not happening right now. Whatever program that is, you fucked.
Program.
I don't know what the hell. That's some Intel bullshit. You have 1 updates available. What is this? Intel driver and support assistant. Services. Intel driver and support assistant. Intel driver and support assistant. Stop. Stop. No. Go away. That was easy. Get out of here. It appears to be gone. Great. Do things while I'm playing games. What else do we do? Clean lap consistent. I wonder what our quality pace looks like. Yeah, we haven't been on softs yet. We'll see how bad softs are. It's also supposed to start raining. That fat money bonus for having the top time in any session. That includes practice.
This is a quali sim. We've estimated the times our closest rivals will be doing, so that's what we need to beat.
Forgot this one. You don't have to brake again. Way wide, way wide, way wide. Let's go back. Second gear turn, not third. Practice, we can go back. It's a really short lap around here, too. Almost as fast as Monaco, but it's going to be way less laps.
Okay, test complete.
Wow, it says I'm going to be first. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, I might have to increase the difficulty. Up another 5. How are we doing on wet? 5 minutes of wet traffic. We did not get a fast sector 2 time. Tire management.
So far,
it's going to last about.
Is a 1 minute.
Tires are going to last about just as long as. Oh, it's already raining. We'll see if the grip level goes down. If it does. Woo! Well, hopefully we have telemetry data now that I actually checked the box that says, give me my data.
Give us some consistent laps, please. We're looking for good data that we can work into the race strategy.
Nope, 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 it's too wet. Way too wet. How long is it going to be wet for? Is other practice sessions? Because if it's not going to be wet for the race, we really don't need to be practicing in it. Qualifying, race, yeah. That's just going to be it for this thing. The session's over for us. Nothing to be gained. Rating harder. Oh wow, so that was a fastest time. And then practice makes perfect is 3 clean laps. It's just it gives the notification comes up much after that it actually happens.
It's time to remind ourselves of our top 3.
Oh, that's a good time.
Who are Lawrence, Hamilton, and Max Verstappen. And that's it. Practice is officially over. Until next time.
Practice is not over. Right, if I click stop recording, do I have laps? Add laps. Lap 3. Okay, it loaded. Here we go. I can't see what I'm looking at. Analysis, race analysis, lap analysis. There we go. Oh, it even labeled the corners. Fire tag. Okay, this is pretty cool. How do you set a reference lap? It even saves the setup. That's cool. Okay, this program's nice. But you can't see what I'm doing. But it's a pretty cool little program. GG.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Next session. I think the race at this track is like 30-something laps, too. It's a lot of laps. It's a very fast track, too, so we do cover a lot of distance. 36-lap race. Hey, Bacon, what's up? What game were you playing last? I don't remember. Was it Dark Souls? Chillin'. Chillin'. Oh, is it raining? Good. Let's go back to tracking telemetry. We have one set of mediums left, but we're going to keep that set of mediums. Oh, really cool. You don't actually need a wheel, you can use a gamepad. As long as you have, like, it helps to have triggers or thumbsticks that let you control the fuel. Get an El Cheapo wheel, like I have. I've had this wheel forever, though. I guess prices on wheels went up a lot. It did want to come around, damn it. Now let's go back. Do it large. I was going to listen to more of this video on how to set the car up. is so much more stable at this track coming on the throttle. I can just go on the throttle, except for that first corner. Oh, we don't have the time though. Why would we not have the time? We must have not taken over the corners very well. Oh, I know what it is. I don't think anybody else has put up a lap yet. Either way, we didn't get the time on this lap.
Okay, you weren't quite good enough that lap.
No one else
Try
has
again.
a lap in. Third. I wonder how we didn't get a good enough time. There's not a whole lot of off-throttle business we could have been doing. Oops.
Great lap. You've nailed what we asked for. Keep it up.
Not enough grip. Not enough grip.
That lap was no good. We need you to improve on that.
I feel like the ride height's too low, and I can probably check that with the telemetry if we're just riding the ground at the lap. That's a good one. 'Cause I can hear it constantly.
Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused.
We lose so much time there. I don't know why. I don't know if it's just the way the AI drives it. We just don't drive it very well. We don't get out of this corner very well at all.
Alright, that's the program complete.
Alright, what do we got for telemetry here? How does it dump it? Does it just write the file when I say so, or does it wait till the end of the session? There we go. Oh, it scores it by lap. How big are these files? Oh, they're nothing. 1 megabyte for 5 laps. What I want to see on this lap is, does it show ride height? ERS mode, fuel mix, gear, time, steering, brake, throttle, gear, max tire surface temperature. Now that's interesting. Suspension, FR, millimeters, left, right. So this one is the one I care about. Where's 0? That's 0. So what does this mean? You can't see what I'm doing. Basically, I'm looking at a telemetry program. And it's just a graph that shows number of distance on the track, loosely related to seconds, I guess. What is it telling me here, though? Is it telling me that we're hitting the ground on the entirety of the lap? That seems bad. Trying to understand this. So it shows it's a graph that has a 0, and then basically during the course of the lap, we're under that 0, which I'm assuming is the ground. Maybe 0 is the car. I don't know. What is my ride height, anyways? What are we even running? Okay, we're kind of low. Okay, well, let's run a lap where we move this up.
So far, our fastest lap is a 1:13.7.
Let's do ERS management just to score more points. Oh, we need to be recording.
In this program, we're looking at ERS management. This is all about managing your battery efficiently throughout the lap to hit your target time. The overtake button will drain the battery quickly, but it will also give you maximum power. program complete.
Alright, what do we got here? What do we got here? St. George. Got a lab. Okay, so it keeps it in the same session and it's just the same out lab, so this is just made. Okay, so I changed nothing. I moved the suspension up a little bit. So the bottom of the graph, I guess, has to be the ground. So we're only hitting the ground how often? We just did a 113.5. Crazy. 113.5. Let me see all my laps. Pretty sure that's the lap we just did. I guess I can't see race director right now. Cannot see race director right now. But I think we just did that lap. Okay, balance. It's interesting that, so like turn 8 and turn 14 looks like we're grounding. So maybe we aren't hitting the ground with the other setup. Doesn't appear that we are. Hey, Koya.
We're fifth in the speed trap, 328.0 kilometers per hour.
So we're gonna go back to this because it gives us more aerodynamics. Anti-roll bar is really firm. Really soft suspension. Yeah, it's about dinner time here too. Let's finish this practice session. So we did a race, we got second. What else? We did some practice. Maybe we'll race this later, I don't know. It'd have to be like after 10 o'clock though. Gonna grill and then you get a salad. Got sausage loaded with peppers and onions brewing. Oh man. We had a turkey, which we're still devouring. Still devouring the turkey.
And with all the cars now over the line, let's see our top three again. Lawrence, Bottas,
Yeah, that was the
and
lap,
Max
so I
Verstappen.
don't know.
Sadly, it's time to say goodbye as free practice is over. However, we'll be back
Anti-turkey.
shortly for more Formula One action.
How can you be anti-turkey? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. What are we using for the race? Might as well get to the parts we're going to use. We're not running this session, so we can just do this. bad there isn't a faster choice.
The session has drawn to a close, so let's review our top three. Leclerc, Vettel, and Valtteri Bottas.
Wow, Mick
Sadly,
got
it's time to
fourth?
say goodbye as free practice is over. However, we'll be back shortly.
Did he just get magically better? Seriously? Got a little bit of acclaim. Practice doesn't really give you much acclaim. See, it's just a tiny little boost. But I think each level that you go up, it requires so many more points. Alright, so we have the car. Ready for this? Yes. It's kind of a cool track. A lot of people in the sim racing community were like all crazy for this track when it like came out in R Factor a bazillion years ago, and I never liked it. Never liked this track. So we're gonna reload the original setup because we like that, and I think it's as stable as it's gonna get. Dude, why are you in my way? You should be penalized for that. I don't know why he's staying in my way. We'll just go another lap, I guess. We have enough fuel in the tank to do it. Maybe that's a good enough lap to get through the fix. That might be a good enough lap. We'll go out again if we get bumped over way down the list. 13th. I don't think any of the other guys are going to stop us, though. None of these, see, all these guys are in the barely breaking the 114. We just have to be top 16 in the session. We can always restart the session. We get bounced. See, we made it. Times get thrown out after the first one. Oh, you're actually getting rain? We got a small amount of rain, and then it stopped. Wow. I could use some of that over here. Get all the allergens out of the air. This might be a really fast lap, or this might be the worst lap. Yeah, this lap's kind of bad. Oh, apparently it's the fastest.
That was the fastest lap.
Really? Okay, let's go to the garage. It's a nice respite from now. This brief respite. I guess we have the fastest lap of the session. But we'll see what happens in the final session here. Because if we're on pole again, we should end up like 6th. Whoa, okay. Gotta go another lap. Got really loose coming off of that one corner.
you've fallen down the order. You're now in P7.
P1. We can go around again yet. We have enough fuel to do so. So let's see if we can get a better lap. I do enjoy destroying those. Unfortunately, it's not the fastest way around the track. Got a good exit on that corner, though. That corner is the hardest corner on the track. And we can't ever get it right. But I don't think we have to go out again. I think we got full. I think we got the pole. Yeah, we got the pole. I guess we're gonna have to bump up. Where are the McLarens or the Mercedes? And there's Hamilton. Where's Bottas? Did Bottas miss the final session?
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin,
is
let's have a
sixth.
quick look at those who will be fronting the grid.
Maybe our arrow
Lawrence,
makes us really
Leclerc,
good at
and
this
Max
track.
Verstappen. Well, that wraps up qualifying,
We're
but don't
disgustingly
worry, we'll
better.
be back tomorrow as we head into the Grand Prix.
So if we win this one, we just increase the difficulty level, basically. I don't think we have time to run the race, though. Whoops. Well, that train is on fire. Oops.
All right, I think we can call that a successful qualifying.
I think we can call that a
Should be in with
successful
good chance in
qualifying,
the race.
too. Is it supposed to rain? No. Good. I guess out in Arizona, a train derailed on a bridge, and somewhere in there's a lot of things on fire. Hey, Bugbear. What am I looking for here? Oh dear. I mean, if we run it, just don't know if I have the patience right now to run 36 laps around. We can just run it. Let's just run the race. Everybody's here. Let's just run the race.
Welcome along then to the North Sea coast and Zandvoort, 25 miles away from Amsterdam, and the host for today's Dutch Grand Prix. It's a race the great Jim Clark won on 4 occasions, leading for an astonishing total of 370 laps. A lap of this short 2.6 mile Zandvoort circuit features 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left. The main straight is 678 metres long and heads into turn 1, the Tarzan corner. With DRS down the main straight into the braking zone, that could be the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Let's run you through the driver grid order for today's exciting race. Lawrence lines up on pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Hamilton, Sergio Perez, and Bottas, Ricciardo, Kvyat, Vettel, and Lando Norris, Schumacher, Sainz, Lance Stroll, and Raikkonen, Ocon, Gasly, Kevin Magnussen, and Nick de Vries, Albon, Russell, Latifi, and Antonio Giovinazzi starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
After the points finish last race, let's aim to keep the momentum going.
Really want us to go on the hard tire? We'll see what happens with that. It might be a medium, it might not be. And tracking in progress of me. Sounds good. Here we go. Thank you. Hopefully all the dodgems and carnage are behind me. Who's behind us? Leclerc.
Okay, that's a good start. Keep it up.
I know we got car upgrades and Aero's really good at this track, but we may have to up the difficulty again. We'll see. We shall see. At least there's no rain. Last season we had rain basically like every other weekend, at least for one session, if not the entire qualifying and race just rained out. Oops, get that bump. to see if we lose in pit stops again.
DRS is being enabled this lap. We can use DRS when you are within 1 second of
That's
the
how
car ahead
Potas got
and
around
in the
us in the
DRS
last
zone.
race. Fight on this corner somehow, and I don't know how we do that. That is, if we have Achilles heel on this track, it's that corner.
We pretty much burned off our excess fuel. We'll be
Shut
back
up,
on
Jeff.
target soon. Don't wait too long to turn the engine down.
I know when to turn it down, Jeff. These tires fall off quick. Oops, a little bit wide there. So we're only going to get like 12 more laps, 6 more laps on these tires. It's not a lot of laps on these tires, and we're just going to go to the hard tire, it looks like. Medium, sure as heck. I think the medium lasts about 24 laps. I don't think there's a massive gain being on the better tire.
Okay, the gap behind is 3.4 seconds. Be careful, we think you're going to start losing some tire grip around now.
Front left is really getting beat up. So I'm going to turn in.
We're approaching the pit window. You'll be on the hards.
Tires are falling off. I think they wanted me to pit on lap 12. Be able to get on board with that. I'd like to get a few more laps out of these tires. Because the hards, I don't know if I want to go that many laps on the hards. We're really losing a lot of time on these tires now. We're not getting a gap anymore from Leclerc. Still sitting at about 3 seconds. So we're not, because we're not losing that much time. Because we're not losing time. We're going to stay out. These tires really start to cook the goose, though. And everyone else is going to pit, too. I'm imagining that they're all going to pit this lap. My guess, these tires are getting pretty bad. It's really just that left front, though, at the moment. But so many of these right-hand bends are just cooking the front tire. If I could adjust tire pressures, I would. That's not this game, it's a GT racing game. I would totally lower the pressure in that left front, as long as it stayed in the right range. Because my guess is if I look at tire temps, we're overcooking that left front. No one has pitted yet. I guess they're all behind me. Let's see if they pit this lap. Yep, they're starting to pit. Are they coming on the hard tires or are they going on mediums? Botas is already on medium. Looks like reading instead of playing the game. Botas hasn't been to the pit though. We'll just pit soon. Maybe lap 14. That's a lot of off throttle. I'm gonna go one more lap and then I know I'm good on the hards the rest of the way. Box this lap. Box this lap.
The pit box is currently full. Stay out on track. Stay out on track.
Box this lap.
We can't take you right now. Pit in next lap.
Box this lap.
The pit box is currently full. Stay out on track. Stay out on track.
Can't be in the pit lane that long. Box this lap.
Okay, we can take you this lap.
Going on the hard tire. Do I want to adjust anything? I don't know the pit window here, so the pit entry. How about we start breaking down?
Go now. Pit strategy complete. See these tires through to the end now.
So Botas hasn't pitted yet. Has that been to the pit? We're in front of everyone else that did. What's also interesting so far is we've had no safety car. We always get one. Every race I do, we get one. not this one yet. Who am I racing?
Okay, here's who we're really fighting today. Bottas and Leclerc.
That doesn't help me at all. Driver ahead.
Bottas is ahead of you. Gap to car in front is 1.4 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 14 laps old. We think they've got one more stop. The time last lap was a 1 minute 16.4.
Weather forecast.
Radar is clear. Weather is looking good for now. Dries seem like the best tyre for now.
Freestyle. Hello. We're gonna re-inherit the lead here.
We're leading our teammate by 15.0 seconds.
Yet to hit the delta point with the new tires and the fuel difference. We have to be close though. This is, I think, the first... Well, it's not the first real lap on these tires. We will eventually run faster laps than we're running. The race is now settled. All the pit stops have cycled. Hey, Ridley. All the pit stops have cycled. Whoa! Hello. Damn it, I was reading. You have new emotes? This one I tried to read something and then I was like, oh, I gotta correct this, and then it just all happened in slow motion. Okay. You have new emotes, and what are they? Or are they the ones that you tried to say and I couldn't read them? Metroid's broken on Twitches, that's just frustration level 10.
Right, some information on Ricardo. They're slowing down. It seems like there's some kind of problem with their car.
Uh-oh. Is that the... we're gonna get our Racely safety car? Every race we get a safety car. Wow! I don't... okay. Well, that actually is a loose problem with the car there. We have to be more careful there, I guess. Our grip comes off there. Completely. They still work on mobile. so they're cached. Something. Oh, we actually could have done that better. Ridley running away. Wait. Oh, you just linked what all the new ones are. See if I can find a point in time to not crash and read that. New ones include Dead Ridley, Happy Ridley, Gay Pride Ridley, and Ridley Time running away. Nice. That's more than half the race already. Almost done. Someone will win. It might just be us this time, then we'll have to boost the AI difficulty again. Our car has unlocked some good upgrades, but we don't have the very best upgrades, so it shouldn't be... This isn't easy, but it shouldn't be... I don't know, we're matching pace with the Mercedes.
Engine mode much longer. We're about a lap
So
over
we have to be
target.
close to the
Drop
correct
down
level
to
of
next to
difficulty.
soon.
And
Gap
also
to
our car
teammate behind
performs
is
better on this track
21.3
than
seconds.
some other tracks because of the arrow. We'll go to Monaco and just lose. The car weighs too much. What else is new with you? Oh, you're back. That's right, because today's Wednesday. Our lap times still suck. More board games. Like what? There's a purple. Mine in that purple. Yeah, I heard. I don't even know how they're going to get that passed. I mean, hopefully someone has a backbone to not allow it to pass and just let everything hit the fan instead of band-aid problem solution. Because 200's nothing, and most people aren't eligible. It just seems like it's a royal screw job. Trail at Boulder's Gate? It's not Baldur's Gate? Oh no, we have to start lapping cars. The good news is they will get out of our way. Straights, anyways. You're typing more than I can read. Out of the way, Latifi. D&D tie-in thing. Whatever it is. Potter game? What's the Potter game that's same from Agricola? That was a lot of loosey-goosey there. Wow, we're actually driving pretty good. We've now gotten 8 seconds off of Leclerc.
The car behind is dropping back by about 0.3 a lap.
Two different games. Words, when I'm out of this complex of terms, I'll try to read them. Harry Potter tie-in game.
Caution, caution.
Oh no,
the virtual safety
BSC.
car is out. Reduce speed and maintain a positive delta. Drop your speed, our delta is too low and we risk a penalty. Slow your pace immediately.
Harry Potter tie-in game and a game that is from Lookout Games. Don't remember the name, it's in the car.
Virtual safety car is ending. Maintain your pace until the green flag. VSC ending. Wait for green. Okay, clear.
That was my teammate retiring from the race. Well done, teammate. So after his first points finish in the last race, he is now not going to keep that streak going.
Nick is out of the race.
No wonder I never liked this track in a GT car, because you're just turning all the time. I'm shifting. That's me. The only thing on is a tiny. There's anti-lock brakes and a small amount of traction control. We lowered the traction control, and that's why we get squirrely now all the time. Wow, even with max fuel, we couldn't get a better lap. That's how bad hard tires are in this game. They're just bad. Just bad. No, there's like 3,000 shifts per race. Maybe 1,500, because it's only half a race distance. Depends on the track, but there's a lot of them. Yeah, I'm probably okay at it. Usually you just kind of get used to the sound. Some people's rigs actually have the lights in the rig itself, in the wheel. So lights up. You have the same lights that you see in the bottom right. If I was full in-car, you'd see that. The in-car actually has it as well. Oh, we're already at 10 to go. Oh no, the AI is terrible at it. You can do way better. Thank you. What I'm really trying to do is nail the apex on some of these kind of bendy corners, big curves. That's really what stands between us and getting the new fastest lap. Some good laps in. We're gaining a lot on the cars behind us. Those will never work. It'll never work. I hate this turn. God. Every time I try to go hard on that turn, it always ends badly. One day I'll have to actually play Undertale. One day. I think I gifted 2 copies of Undertale and I've never played it myself. What? I've gifted more copies of Undertale. Like, I don't own the game. I've been really bad at playing. I've started playing Front Mission 1, like I was saying at the Koya earlier. We started playing Front Mission 1. We got through like the first 10 missions, and then this happened. And this happened. It's like Factorino, except I actually have focus to play it. Okay, hard tires, you can do a little bit better than that for me. Just a little bit better than that. Had time to read the things. I needed money to stay home. I'm relatively nervous. Yeah, I wouldn't know what to do either. I can't even, well, the mother of a child can't even convince someone that, like, inviting over 20 of their friends is a terrible idea. That's exactly what I just said. We'll be wearing masks, so it'll be okay. That's not how that works. If you're gonna hang around someone more than 10 minutes, masks are pointless. I wouldn't say pointless, but it's just highly likely without medical grade stuff you're not gonna share what someone has. Okay, dude, you need to get out of my way. You're really in the way. Let's go this way. Uh-oh. Well, messed that up. I was like, what line are we going to take to get through this back marker? And then I just kind of beached the car. What line were we going to take? None of the lines. 6 to go. Oh. Way too far in on that corner.
You're losing a small amount of time to the car behind. Keep pushing.
Come on, George Russell, get out of the way. Get out of the way of the leader. You would think with all these bends that
we have 5 laps of fuel remaining.
That we would have, with the fuel left, lower fuel load, be getting faster laps, and it's just not happening. I guess it's tire limited track more than. See where it is at the line. We'll try going to full rich on the final lap, see what happens. 5 to go with the line. Still 4/10 off at the best lap. Low fuel. And that was done on fresh tires with a full load of fuel. I'd be interested to see what the lap times were throughout the entire race. Maybe they just were pretty consistent. We'll see in the waning laps here if we can set a new fastest lap. Whoa, hello. Okay, not this lap. Not this lap. After the podium celebration and stuff, it's probably going to be the end of the stream. A bunch of people came out though, so that was nice. But I'm going to run a little bit into jeopardy. It's all repeats now anyway. Oh, that was actually a pretty good lap.
There's 4 laps of fuel remaining.
Hey, DeVries. He's a new... The game actually had a driver retire and switch teams. But DeVries picked up someone's spot.
Tire condition is still looking good.
Jump. Might be the fastest lap of the race, we shall see. Yes, it is.
That was the fastest lap of the race. Keep this up.
So do another fastest lap of the race.
only got 2 laps of fuel left. We advise moving to mix 2, fuel to mix 2.
That was almost a big crash. That would have been crazy to throw the race away right at the end there.
This is your final lap of the race.
Wow! That was neat.
Less than a lap of fuel now. The tank is empty.
That was some really snappy oversteer there. Saved it. Ridley needs his computer. Go set up your computer. Ugh.
That's a race win. You've really been great today.
A hard-fought win today then, after a very difficult race. Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today. What set them apart from the rest?
I'd say it was down once again to good, consistent driving, nailing the corners, working to the track conditions and perfecting the team's strategies. They got all of these things right today and the results speak for themselves.
Here comes your top 3 making their way down to the podium for what can only be described as a fantastic day for Formula One.
All that confetti.
And after this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. Lawrence takes over the lead of the drivers' championship. Let's focus
we did
on
really
the driver
well.
of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Charles Leclerc showed exactly how to manage yourself out on the track today. He was almost flawless out there. Incredible stuff. All respect to the fans' choice. They fully deserve it. But I just feel that my pick had a little more on their plate. So their ability to keep a cool head and come through for such a strong finish made the difference. At least in my opinion.
We actually lead the drivers now too. We're gonna have to bump up the difficulty.
The current championship leaders still hold top spot, but that gap is getting smaller. Meanwhile, good work from Racing Point this weekend, who pushed themselves further up the order. I'm equal parts exhausted and elated with this weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for the next one.
Oh, we got the interview. Forgot about the interview.
Let's have yours. Was there really any competition for you today? You're leading the championship. Are you happy to be there or feeling the pressure? Do you think that your close rivalry has helped you out this season? You performed better than last weekend. What changed? Great. Well, that's everything.
Oh, we won our rivalry. So we get a big boost from that. And our acclaim there. There it is. Oh wow, make a loss points. We banked a whole bunch because we podiumed. And we broke some stuff, so we lost money. But this, the damage deductions really don't matter. Days before 2 days. Sponsor promotion, powertrain development. Let's just take forever points. No R&D is going to be finished before we get back. We have a whole bunch of points to spend. Just looking for which one has the. This was the one that has the greatest reduction in cost. Weight reduction sounds like it's a good. When those finish, we'll have amongst the best chassis. We don't have it quite yet. It's already counting. It's counting stuff already that we don't have yet. Advance.
You're not currently in a rivalry. Sooner or later, you will.
All right. Have a good one, everyone. See you later.